What's up, everybody? So I got one DM of somebody asking me to talk about this, and all I need is one DM. All I need is one mic. Okay. So somebody was asking me about the Chris Lopez situation. I was about to say Chris Sales. Somebody was asking me about the Chris Lopez situation, asking me what was our relationship. We don't have a what we listen. Okay, I started promoting Chris Lopez's podcast because we had never heard him speak before. Never. It's always Kail and what she says, and to be honest, Kail is like my favorite teen mom because I feel like when she was dealing with Javi, and I know I rag on her a lot, but most of that shit is for shock value. Um, my child's father is just like Javi, like a master manipulator, and he does things, then turns it back on you and act like you were wrong, and then he stares at you with like a slight grin, like what, I don't understand why you're mad. Like, have a conversation. Like, no, I'm not about to have a conversation with somebody that's passive aggressive and it's disgusting and it's a turn off. And I kind of felt like, and both of them are in the army. My baby father is in the army, he's an officer, and Javi was in the Air Force. So, I could see a lot of the similarities and stuff like that. So Kail quickly became my fave. Now, as far as Chris, like I said, I had never heard him talk. So when I finally put a voice with this blurred image that I kept getting for years, it all started to make sense. And I'm like, y'all need to hear this. Everybody needs to hear this because we had never heard him talk, and he's telling his side, and it's so far from what Kail said. And I wanted people to hear it. And once I started plugging in the SoundCloud, I'm guessing y'all went over there and started to look at it. And I don't want to say that it's just me that gave him like clout or followers or attention or listeners, but I didn't see any other team on page, correct me if I'm wrong, that endorses him, that checks for him, that is like, oh, he's on daddy duties. I don't see anybody posting him except me. So that's why, I said I was promoting his SoundCloud. And then when I posted it a couple of times, when he got a new episode out, he wanted me to post it. And I'm like, cool, I will, because I feel like you are trying. You know what I'm saying? According to your podcast, you are trying, and you honestly feel like you're in a relationship that you can't get out of with Kail, and you don't want anything to do with her, but you want to provide and take care of your son. And for that, I applaud you. It's kind of like with the Devon situation. A lot of people were hating Devon, but I'm like, you don't give him a chance. All you see is Brianna's disapproving face all the time, all the time. And I'm looking at the other teen moms, and nobody really rags on what their child's father doesn't do, except people of color. Like, I've seen Leah maybe one time say that Jeremy didn't go see Addie the way he was supposed to. But in this past season, Jeremy is basically portrayed as, a hands-on God. They even had a special on the reunion where they were sitting on the couch and Addie was saying little cute stuff behind them. So I honestly feel like, and Dr. whatever was being petty when he played that clip of Devon being drunk. I honestly feel like if somebody's trying but they have been dealt a bad hand, then we don't need to condemn those type of people. That's all. It has nothing to do with race, but I'm just saying that that's what Teen Mom, chooses to highlight is what people aren't doing. Now, I know that they highlight Lewis a lot, that he does absolutely jack. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just bothers me. So if I see these people and they have a voice and they're saying what actually happened, my ear is up, I want to listen. So that is the whole thing with Chris. I just wanted to listen to another side because I'm like, it can't be as bad as what this TV show is portraying. And Kail even goes on her own podcast and say that she's portrayed so terrible on Teen Mom. So it cannot be 100% true. It's always three sides to a story. In this case, it's four because it's what Teen Mom wants us to know. So that was the extent of my relationship with Chris. It's kind of like the same one I would have with Devon and anybody else that I put on my page, and I laugh at their goofiness, or I'm like, oh, yo, go take a look at this. They're doing this and that, trying to bring in some extra income or something. And I even gave him the idea of putting his podcast on YouTube so he can get paid from it. It was just, I see you, and you let's do it. Let's do this, that, and third. I'll continue to promote the little podcast or whatever, get you a few more followers on your SoundCloud, whatever. That's all that was. So I felt like me and him had kind of a decorum, like a back and forth, because of, me just saying, yeah, I see you. You trying to do something with your life and, take the next steps and be even better for your son. And that's what I'm doing with Devon right now, and whoever else that I see that doesn't get a fair shake on Teen Mom. So whenever I saw him ask Kail out on a date on Twitter is when everything kind of went sideways. So I saw him ask Kail out on a date on Twitter, and she was like, "Boy, bye." And so after she said "boy, bye," he deleted the tweet. So I didn't initially see it. It was sent to me later on, but I didn't see it. So I got on my Instagram and I'm like, Chris Lopez, and I tagged him. I'm like, well, what's the tea? Okay. Shortly after that, I go on to Kail's Instagram and she's throwing more shots at him, saying that they will basically never get back together and so on and so forth. So then I go to his and he's like, I'm Ray Charles to the bullshit. I don't care. So I put that on my page. It's still on my page. I put that on my page. I'm like, they throwing shots at each other. And then I put up pictures of Kail's new boo, allegedly her new boo, the dude with the receding hairline from the Hot Springs photo with Leah, the one that Leah had to come on the page and say that's not her boo. And the only reason Leah did that is to save ass, because Kail knows that Chris looks at my page. So she doesn't want him to think that she's entertaining any more dudes. But she was definitely sitting on his lap. So I put that up. You know, next thing I know, I go back to Chris's page and I think I'm blocked. And I'm like, oh wow, why am I blocked? And then Kail comes to my page and she says, that's not my baby daddy number 4. Can you stop spreading rumors? I don't pay her any attention. I don't pay her no mind. And then, you know, she DM'd me. And that is why I deleted it. A lot of people are like, you too nice. But if I get a DM, like, please, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say what DM said, but along those lines of, like, please. Then I'm thinking that something is happening in the household that I need to take this down because it's affecting you personally. So that's why I took it down, because I'm a woman of integrity. So even though I run a shade room page, I know that things aren't always as they seem. So I took it down. And that is when I thought that Chris had blocked me. So I put up, after I took that down, it was already a post up under that, right, where Chris Lopez had liked some gay dudes kissing, and y'all see it, it's on the Teen Mom Shade Room page. And you know, I was like, explain, you know what I'm saying? And I also had put up a little interview that he did, that Javi had did, and Javi had mentioned him, and Chris called him a clown. So I put those two up there, and my caption was like, Chris didn't think that Kail cheated on him again with Javi. Just something messy, like I always do. So then Kail came back and said, and I did not cheat on Chris. I have never cheated on Chris. I've always been faithful to Chris. So then I reposted that. I feel like Kail comes to my page and says stuff because she knows I'll repost it. But it's just making her seem like she's in recovery mode. You know what I'm saying? Like she's trying to redeem herself. Like, for the life of me and everything I've posted about Kail when she responds to something about Chris, because I feel like she doesn't want him to know or think that she has moved on. And after the DM, I could tell that they were working behind the scenes. They were probably on the phone together, you know, and he's like, what's this bullshit I see about this dude? They're trying to get back together. It's something there where they're trying to get back together, something like that. And I didn't want no more parts of it, so I deleted it, you know. Shortly after that, Chris Lopez makes a fake page, 1 follower, no, not even 1 follower, 0 followers, following 0. So if you're following 0 and you have 0, why put a bio? So he puts a bio, and it's the same bio as his SoundCloud. So I'm like, Chris, why are you trolling me from a fake page? And he's like, no shit,